Hello, this is Helena Hoyt, a JDP student, very excited to share with you what I've learned in SPSS this week. You'll notice we have a pre-populated data set that's titled Class CC-IDI. In Data View, you'll notice that there are multiple subjects and various variables already populated. As we move to the variable view, I've highlighted the column of measurement. There are three different levels of measurement within this data set: nominal, which is categorical, ordinal, ordered, and finally scale, which is interval or ratio data. We will be using scale data as we practice computing variables, looking at frequencies, descriptive statistics, and histograms. So let's go ahead and get started. We want to begin by computing variables to create a composite score. We will first utilize Transform and click on Compute Variable. You'll note a Compute Variable box appears. In this, we can create a target variable. So I am going to title this Compute Variable, all caps, no space, special characters, or numbers. We now look at the numeric expression that we will create. In this column, we have all of the labels identified from the data set. We're interested in the labels that have a ruler. This means they're a scale level of measurement. So that would be ratio or interval. In this, we're going to create the sum of three variables so we have a composite score. So we're going to begin with collaborative learning. I'm going to click on that variable, push the arrow, and that's the first variable that's included in our expression. We want a sum, so that means we're going to add variables together. I next am interested in culturally relevant teaching. So I can either use the arrow or I can double click and you'll note it pops up into the numeric expression. We're going to add that and we're going to look at empowerment strategies as our third and final variable. We're now ready to click on OK and compute the variables. So we will see an output. It says compute variable equals collab plus CRT plus empower execute. And we have fully executed the function. So now I'm going to take us back into the variable view. And we're going to scroll down to see if our compute variable appears, and it does. So it's now time to look at analyzing this. Let's click on Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and Frequencies. We see that a frequency box appears. So we first want to look at that variable that we've created, compute variable. And again, we can single click an arrow or double click. This is the variable of interest. So let's run some statistical analyses. We want to include mean, median, and mode from central tendency. And dispersion, we want standard deviation, and we want to see the variance. We now want to click Continue. And finally, we were interested in looking at that histogram. So I'm going to click on Histogram, and I want to see what the normal curve appears to look like on that histogram. We are now ready to fully analyze these variables. So we click OK, and our output should appear with all that we've requested. So very exciting to see frequencies appear first. We have our compute variable, N, that's the number. We have 1,270 valid entries, and we have 505 that are missing. So that's a little bit of a red flag. That seems high. We have the mean. We have that meaning the average, 40.03. The median, 38. The mode is 37. Standard deviation, which is the average distance from the mean, that's 10.84. And we have the variance, which is 117.52. We certainly like a larger variance. We want to be able to then look at the frequency, the percent, the valid percent, which takes into account all of the missing data, and the cumulative percent. So when we look at the totals below, you'll again note we have the total and then we have those that are missing. And again, that will be reflected in the validity. The final piece of our puzzle is the histogram. You'll note that the histogram shows that we have a normal distribution curve. It may appear a little peaked, which would be considered elliptochoric, but it still appears normal. This concludes our video in exploring computation of variables, frequencies, descriptive statistics, and histograms. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you, and have a good night.